Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My various sisters, inshallah, today will be discussing a brief history of Bani Israel. So, not that much detail as you can imagine, there is a lot to discuss. Inshallah, today we'll be covering the ayahs that we have covered so far, starting from not only the Surah Maida ayahs, also the ayahs from Surah Baqarah. Okay? So, before I start, inshallah, let me know what am I showing you here? What are you looking at here? So, I am showing you here, let's see. There is, if you look at this one and you're going to put in the chat box one or two, if I tell you this is Masjid al-Aqsa that I'm showing you, Masjid al-Aqsa, this dome is actually Masjid al-Aqsa. So type 1 if you think that my statement is right. Type 1 if you think my statement is right. This is Masjid al-Aqsa. This is what you're looking at. Exactly. So here is the thing. I'm very surprised to know that how this is actually captured in the media as Masjid al-Aqsa. This dome is actually a part of a big masjid. Okay, so this masjid, this area, the Masjid al-Aqsa is actually a huge area. Let me take you to the next slide and then I can show you. This is what is called the Dome of the Rock. Okay, so this is not Masjid al-Aqsa. If anyone is confused about it, be very clear. This is only a part of that. Okay, and as I'm showing you in this part, the Dome of Rock is the part of Masjid al-Aqsa. Then you have Al-Qibli Masjid, Marwani Masjid, meaning there are lots of domes in the area which comes under the territory of Masjid al-Aqsa. Okay, so why is this dome, subhanallah, is pictured in the media as the Masjid al-Aqsa? The big reason is it is said, I was just going through the stuff and trying to see why is that so. If any damage is done to this part, actually the masajid, this is not going to be touched because this is actually the part where the Jews have like little respect for. So they may not do anything to this part, but this part here, the masajids are the one that can be the part if like it can be destroyed. So in the media, if you are saying subhanallah, this part is destroyed and meaning the masajids are destroyed and this part is still there, just to not make it a big deal, every time you're going to look for Masjid al-Aqsa, you're going to see this part is coming. Dome is coming, but that dome is not only the part, right? So just keep in mind when you talk about Masjid al-Aqsa, this is this is a big land, okay? So before I go there, I need to ask you guys up here. Let's come here. So it all started with Prophet Ibrahim. So Prophet Ibrahim going down to Idris alayhi salam, to Nuh alayhi salam, and then comes, Prophet Adam to Idris to Nuh, and then Prophet Ibrahim. So I'm gonna start with Prophet Ibrahim here. So let me show you. So I want you for now, as this is some part, like this is the part of, I would say, I would say the history. Many of us may not be aware of. Many of us actually know them in with different names. So let's look at this part where I want all of us to focus. So I want you to look at here, Persia. This is Iran. Okay, so this is Iran is Persia. Then comes Iraq, Babylon. Okay, so just keep this in mind कि ये आपके दिमाग में होना चाहिए that these are the important parts that we have been talking about. All the prophets are coming on this land. We have been fighting, not we, but like the Muslims have been fighting for these lands. So which land is which? And these are the lands which are actually talked about in Quran. Okay, then comes, look at this one now. This is Syria, Aleppo, Damascus. This is Syria. So you are seeing on the right side Persia, then Iraq, then comes Syria, then here is a Jerusalem. Okay, so here is a Jerusalem. Look at this one, Hebron. This is one of the city, and then comes Egypt. So on the river Nile up here. So these are the not three, actually few parts of the world that I want you to pay attention to, and then on the lower end is the Arabian Peninsula, right? So I'm hoping this is all clear now. So I'm gonna keep in mind Persia, Iraq, Syria, Jerusalem, Egypt, and then look at this part up here. So this is Red Sea, and then Sinai. This is a Mount Sinai where the Prophet Musa alayhi salam was given the prophethood. Okay, so let's inshallah keep going. Okay, so who are Bani Israel? We are all aware they are coming from Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? So initially Ibrahim alayhi salam had two sons. So one of them is Ismail and the other one is Ishaq, right? Ismail alayhi salam is in Makkah. So going back, Arabian Peninsula, and Ishaq alayhi salam is in Canaan. Okay, so this is the area of Iraq. Okay, and Ishaq alayhi salam then had Yaqub alayhi salam, and Yaqub alayhi salam is actually called Israel. Isra is actually the word is called the slave of Allah. Okay, so Isra ka matlab hai कि that is the abd of Allah or the slave of Allah. Okay, so that is the reason all his sons is from coming from, this should be Yaqub alayhi salam actually. So the Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. We are all aware, right? So 12 sons, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, 9 sons, and then comes your Yehuda. Important name. This is very important name because the Yehudis are actually, or the Jews are actually taking their name from this son of Yaqub alayhi salam. Okay, so then you are aware of Joseph or Yusuf alayhi salam, and then is a Benjamin, right? So we are all aware of 12 sons of Yaqub alayhi salam. Grandfather of these guys are all Ishaq alayhi salam, right? So all the children of Yaqub alayhi salam, they are called Bani, meaning the children of Israel. Okay. So the question then becomes these, as I mentioned to you, let me show you here. So they are all here, right, in Jerusalem. I just mentioned to you they are all in the area of Iraq. How come they went to the area of Egypt? Okay, so that is a question. Why, how they reached here? Because this area of Egypt, major role in history of Bani Israel. These 5 areas that I mentioned, they are playing a major role. So my question is then, okay, how come they reached to the Egypt? And that was through the story of, sorry, where did it go? Yusuf alayhi salam. Remember, brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam threw him in the well, and then he was taken to Egypt, right? And then he became the very important minister in Egypt. We are all aware of the story. Now he's being a treasure minister in Egypt. I really want you to take a pause here. When we are talking about Egypt, okay, so this is Egypt, okay. So we are hoping to hear the name of Pharaoh. Pharaohs were the kings of the Egypt, right? So Pharaoh is actually a title. It's not a name, it's a title. So they are the kings of the Egypt. But when we hear about the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, there is no Pharaoh there, right? That we are going to remind ourselves that is the Hyksos king. That area during the time of Yusuf alayhi salam was actually under the captivity, meaning that was captured by some outside forces. क्या बात कर रही हूँ? यूसुफ अलैहि सलाम जब इजिप्ट में थे, उस टाइम इजिप्ट के एक्चुअली अपने किंग नहीं काम कर रहे थे, वो बाहर से किंग आए हुए थे. ओके, जो हिक्सॉस किंग होता है, अगर आपको नाम कभी सुना हो आपने, इसका मतलब ही होता है कि रूलर्स ऑफ फॉरेन लैंड्स, मीनिंग जब यूसुफ अलैहिस्सलाम वहां पर थे, Egypt was under the control of some outside forces. Okay, so then what happens after Yusuf alayhi salam? So Yusuf alayhi salam now is in the Egypt, right? In the Egypt, so you have now see Yusuf alayhi salam is now here in the Egypt, right? So now the question becomes, how come Yaqub and other sons are reaching there? So we are very well aware there was actually the famine, right? तो कहत पड़ जाता है in all the countries, sorry, in the areas of this whole land that we just talked about, Egypt at that time used to be the superpower. Lots of agricultural growth, lots of social and lots of things that were not available in the other parts of the world. Egypt had that. Okay, so Yaqub alayhi salam, jaise he Yusuf alayhi salam became the treasure minister, he became in a power to that point that he actually brought the whole family to the Egypt. Now the whole family that we were talking about, ये सारे यहाँ पे कैसे पहुंचे, right? तो याकूब अलैहिस्सलाम भी आते हैं, and all the other sons, they were all in Egypt. Okay, so now when they are in the Egypt, so let's see what happened then. Now we are talking about these are all the sons of the Yaqub alayhi salam in the Egypt. They were very much sort of respected. People had a lot of respect for them. But what happened? Now Egyptians, the original local Egyptians, they actually started a movement where they kicked out the Hyksos king. Okay, the one that the the forces from outside, they were kicked out. This actually made the Bani Israel, they came into trouble because these people were actually favored by the king. Remember, Yusuf al-Islam was the treasure minister, so they were being favored by the king. उस टाइम उन्हें कोई कुछ नहीं कह सकता था. जैसे ही इजिप्शियन जो लोकल इजिप्शियंस होते हैं, they came into power, that actually started this thing where they made Bani Israel the slaves. ओके. बनी इसराइल स्लेव्स कैसे बनते हैं कि चूंकि जब जैसे जैसे टाइम गुजरता जाता है, आपके जो इंटरनल इजिप्ट होता है, उसी के इजिप्ट के जो लोग होते हैं वो अपनी मूवमेंट शुरू करते हैं. वो पहले जो उनके जो किंग्स होते हैं जिन्होंने उनके ऊपर कब्जा किया होता है, पहले वो उनको मार भगाते हैं, एंड देन दे एक्चुअली गोइंग टू नाउ ट्रबल बनी इसराइल. और यहाँ इसी तरह बनी इसराइल केम इनटू स्लेवरी इन इजिप्ट. ओके. देन सुभान अल्लाह कम्स मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम. इसी कौम में रिमेंबर द नाउ द फेरो इज नाउ कमिंग इन द पिक्चर. उनके अपने किंग बड़े हो जाते हैं, they came into power, and then they were started a movement where every other year they were killing the boys. Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam, they came in this enslaved community of the Bani Israel. Okay, यहाँ से ये जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, look at the years, they were like 300 years बड़ा enjoy किया, 240 years we were just in the slave mentality, and then Musa alayhi salam comes. Again we are no we are ये वाली इस जगह को नहीं भूलना आप सबने. राइट. सो दीज आर ऑल द एरियाज इस साइड पर. ऑन दिस साइड वेयर आई एम शोइंग यू, यहाँ पे था बेबीलोन इराक, उसके साथ था ऑन द राइट साइड वाज पर्जिया ईरान, देन कम्स योर पैलेस्टाइन. ठीक है. Keep that in mind. Egypt hai, and then in the middle you are seeing the Sinai. Musa alayhi salam now is given the prophethood. Remember the Sinai tour? So here he was given the prophethood. And then what happened? Musa alayhi salam had this huge interaction with Pharaoh. Musa alayhi salam पूरी कौम को बाहर निकालते हैं. Big miracle was seen by Bani Israel where they saw the drowning, actual drowning of the Pharaoh with his whole army. Right? ये हमें सबको पता है. Whole सामने खड़ा करके पूरी बनी इसराइल was made to is young Pharaoh. तुमने देखा था. You saw it when we were drowning the Pharaoh with his whole army. Why am I telling you this thing? These are the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which Bani Israel is reminded in the Quran. Okay, that you were actually we made you see this. They used to rule made treat you so badly. We actually made this miracle in front of you, and then comes this ayah. Right, so we are all aware. Remember when we saved you from Musa, they used to yasumunakum su'al adhab, युज़ब्बिहून अब्नाकुम, they used to kill your sons. बेटों को ज़िबा करते थे, ख़वातीन को जिंदा रखते थे. वस्तहयूना निसाअकुम, बड़ा ही अजाब था इसमें तुम्हारे रब की तरफ से. और याद करो, वइज़ फ़रक़ना बिकुमुल बहर, जब हमने फॉर यू वी पार्टेड द सी फॉर यू, व अग़रक़ना आला फ़िरऔन व अंतुम तंज़ुरून, you were looking and we did that. Right? So just imagine Bani Israel is now being reminded of the favors done to them. Then what happened? Then comes you are, subhanallah, this is again a powerful ayah which we should be taking it as an example. Where Pharaoh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let me show you the ayah. فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ. We are going to actually save you, your body, and we're going to make you example for everyone around. Subhanallah. And this is in the Surah Yunus, ayah number 92, when Pharaoh's body was actually made to float on the surface, right? And this is one of the signs. So now we are all aware, Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam and Bani Israel, they are now coming out. So ये Sinai में पहुंच चुके हैं, right? So they are coming, they after the drowning of Pharaoh जा चुका है, और उसके उसकी आर्मी भी जा चुकी है, ये लोग सिनाई में पहुंच चुके हैं. ठीक है. अब इसके बाद क्या होता है? Because this is where we need to keep all these context in mind, because they are the part of Quran, right? So let me tell you one thing. There are multiple stories of Bani Israel which are mentioned in Bible and the other scriptures. Part of the stories are mentioned in Quran. This is not the whole story, but the part of the story is mentioned in Quran, and the stories mentioned in Quran are the ones or I should just say the parts mentioned in the Quran are the ones which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us, me and you to be aware of and to take the lessons from, right? But there is a lot to the story, meaning like in the background you may find some statements, but for now we are going to focus on what is mentioned in Quran. So now in the Sinai, okay, so Pharaoh is gone, his people are gone, Musa alayhi salam is in the part of Sinai, right? Musa alayhi salam went to Sinai to, now he is going up to the Tur. Again, Musa alayhi salam is called to the Tur for 40 days. Initially it was 30, but increased to 40, where there was one-to-one, subhanAllah, training of Musa alayhi salam needs to be done. And this is the time when he was given the Torah, right? In the meantime, on the background, there was a lot happening in terms of, Bani Israel going disobedient. And what was a sign? They started worshipping a cow. Cow has been one of the very, very strong entity in the history of Bani Israel. Not only in their history, and actually that became the part of their history from Egypt. For Egyptians, the cow had a very sort of a remarkable position, because they used to think that these are just like our Aulia. Like, just imagine. Sometimes we think that, some person is going to connect us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Same thing they used to think about cow. So they used to, like, feed the cow and had some special treatments done to the cow, because they used to treat cow just like their razak. Okay, so cows are very important. So in the mind of these previously enslaved people, boy mentality. So what happened? Samri actually collected the whole bulk of gold that these guys have, and then he made a small cow. Okay, yeah. So the calf was made by that. And subhanallah, why the calf? Because they used to actually, it is said they used to actually keep the buy the small cows, meaning the calves, and they used to make them grow, like just like they were given very special places in their holy places, and they used to sort of worship them and let the baby calf grow into a, like, original, like, the full-fledged cow. So very important. Cow is very important for them. So these people started worshipping the cow. And then, subhanallah, we are learning from the ayahs of the Quran. And remember, وَعَدْنَا مُوسَى 40 لَيْلَةً, we promised Musa 40 days. ثُمَّ اتَّخَذْتُمُ الْعِجْلَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ, बड़ा ही जुल्म किया, you were very, very wrong. That was a big thing. We made you saved from Firaun, his army. We made you see this thing, right? So we were doing a favor on you, and we saved you. And subhanAllah, well, look at what you did. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran, Surah Baqarah ayahs, that remember when Musa called to his people, Ya qaumi, innakum zalamtum anfusakum, you did a big zulm to yourself. Why so? Bittakhazikum ulijla. So you actually took a cow, fatubu ila bariikum. So repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How they were supposed to repent? Fakutulu anfusakum, kill all the people who were the part of this plan. Subhanallah, this is a very, very important thing. Meaning, I am asked to kill if my second cousin is involved, or my first cousin involved, or my brother, or my any family member is involved. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ने कुरान में कहा मारो सबको, फ़क़्तुलू अनफुसकुम, और ये मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम ने उनको कहा. क्यों कहा? Why so? ज़ालिकुम खैरुल लकुम, this is better for you. And that is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to forgive you. And He is the most forgiver, right? So He's most merciful, and He forgives. Subhanallah, look at what is happening now. So these are in the Sinai, right? I want you to keep the, what is that, picture in your mind, the map in your mind. Okay, so ye Musa alayhi salam with his nation now is in the Sinai, right? Just out under the Tur. Okay, let's keep going, inshallah. And then we are we learned about again this story coming in Quran. After the calf incident, again they got silly, refused to accept the Torah. Then Musa alayhi salam took 70 people with him. It is all mentioned in Quran, so we should all be aware of it. 70 people, meaning the best of them. 70 are being brought to the Mount Sinai. These people, they are demanding lan nu'mina hatta until and unless we are going to see, oh, Musa, you are talking to Allah. This is what they actually said. I'm just quoting the, I'm not quoting actually, I'm just giving the gist. So they are telling Musa, oh Musa, he's, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to you. He's talking to you. We are not going to believe unless and until we see Allah. तो वो बात तो मूसा तुम्हारा रब तुमसे बात कर रहा है. Oh, we also want to see him क्योंकि we are the best of all and Allah needs to show us or give us some response too. And with this demand of theirs, subhanallah, they were punished with lightning, and they, all of them other than Musa alayhi salam was killed. Can you imagine? All 70 were killed. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran कि हमने सबको जगाया, सुम्मा बअसनाकुम मिन बादि मौतिकुम, तुम सारे मर चुके थे, हमने तुम लोगों को, you were all dead and we brought you life. Why so? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you be very thankful to us. So Bani Israel is being given favors after favors after favors. And you are going to see this theme throughout the Quran. Okay, so now these people are back to life, subhanallah. 70 people are going, but same, wahi attitude, same attitude. There is no change. Stubbornness and disobedience, right, left, everywhere. So these 70 Israelites, now they're coming back. Well, because I just told you, these were the best of them, right? So the बेहतरीन लोग गए थे उधर. तो अब उन्होंने miracle भी सारे देख चुके हैं. अब इसमें क्या करने लगे, अब अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला एक्चुअली पूरी की पूरी, इट्स अमेजिंग. अगर आप इसको सिर्फ सोचें, जस्ट इमेजिन द होल माउंटेन वाज रेज्ड अपॉन देम in front of us. Just imagine the mountain just is raised. बिल्कुल आपके सर के ऊपर कोई माउंटेन, वही जो देखते हैं आप माउंटेन, आपके आप उसको जानते भी हैं, you know that place. Okay, Musa alayhi salam was given the Torah here, was given the prophethood initially, and then was given the Torah here. The whole mountain was raised. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورَ. Remember when we did that? We raised the whole mountain above you. Why so? خُذُوا مَا أَتَيْنَاكُمْ, so that you can take. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually commanding them, take whatever we have given you, بِقُوَّةٍ, with the force, meaning really take it. وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ, and remember what is in it. Meaning you are being told this thing, same thing about Quran. आपको भी कहा जा रहा हो, خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ. ये before I keep going, these are not the stories only. Prophet, peace be upon him, has mentioned in the hadith, you are going to follow Bani Israel, जैसे one shoe is matches with the other shoe. Just imagine, जैसे आपका एक जूता दूसरे से मैच करता है, बिल्कुल, we are the mirror images of each other. We are the mirror images, and that is the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions them so early in the Quran. Surah Baqarah, the reason why we are being told we need to first look at what are we vulnerable to, what are we going to do, where the weaknesses are. So subhanallah, summa tawallaytum min ba'di dhalika, we raised the whole mountain in front of you. Again you turned away, तुम फिर पीछे मुड़ गए. जब ये भी करके दिखाया, सुभान अल्लाह, फलौला फद्लुल्लाहि अलैकुम, अगर तो तुम पे अल्लाह का फजल ना होता और व रहमतुहु, और उसकी रहमत ना होती, लकुन्तुम मिनल खासिरीन, बड़े ही खसारा पाने वाले में से तुम सारे होते. Again you are seeing back to back stories are Musa alayhi salam, the back to back. And what are we learning from these ones? We are being reminded. Abhi COVID khatam hua, हालतें, look at what we do now. How pious we were, how righteous we were when the COVID was here. Lots of zikr, lots of good deeds. And again, we are just like sort of a Ramadan Muslims. We know that concept, right? So just like what is happening here, this is what exactly they did. Whenever they were given any punishment, they used to be Ramadan Muslim, right? And whenever they were given, meaning they're like, just imagine कि थोड़ा सा छूट मिले, like little bit of they were let go loose, there you go, they used to cross the limit. So now Bani Israel is now in Sinai, right? So we just learned they are all here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that they are actually, now they went to the gates of Palestine. Now from Egypt to Sinai, now this nation is going to go to Palestine. So what was the command there? Enter the city. And what city? This city. So look at this one. This whole area is Palestine area. Jerusalem is above, and then Hebron is here, and this city, one city is very important, Eriha, okay? But they were told to enter the city of Hebron, okay? Again, Bani Israel were Bani Israel. And this time, because this is the part of ayahs in Quran, so listen carefully. In the Hebron, there were the people from Canaan. These people, Canaan, what is Canaan? I just mentioned to you earlier. These are the areas of Iraq, right? So they were the whole nation of Yaqub alayhi salam. They were all the areas of Iraq. Okay, so this is, you have might have heard the name of Sham. Okay, so Sham is actually this whole Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and then Jerusalem, Palestine. So these are those four areas. They are, this whole thing is called the Sham. It's not only one country. It's a whole area, like 4, 5 countries on the map comes under the, if you talk about Sham. So now Bani Israel, they were told to enter Hebron. Okay, I'll show the ayahs too. Inshallah, this will be very, very clear to you. They told Musa alayhi salam, and this is what we did in our word to word class this week. Musa, we cannot enter Hebron. We cannot enter the city, and the reason is the people of this city, they are Qauman Jabbarin. Remember these words because you just covered these ayahs, right? We just did them. Qauman Jabbarin. Which Jabbarin? As I just mentioned, they are the people of Canaan who were there at that this time. And these, they Canaanites, they were considered to be descendants of Ad. Okay, so these were the people of Ad, meaning their descendants. Meaning these are the, and Ad, this nation was known for it, they're built for their strength, big height, big people. So this is why they were saying, Musa, you go, Rabbuka, Anta wa Rabbuka, Faqatila, you both go and we are going to fight. We are going to sit here. We are not going to go from Sinai. You know what? You go and your Rab go. Because there's a people of common Jabarin here, and we are not interested. We are not going to fight. We are just, essentially what they were saying is, we are just here to get the perks, meaning the blessings over blessings. We don't want to show you any loyalty. And we learned, Ya qawm udkhulul arda muqaddasa. I want you to pay attention here. Enter the earth, which is Al Muqaddasa, the holy city. Which city? I just mentioned to this one, Hebron. Enter it. Allati, here is a part. Allati, the one, kataballahu lakum. Allah has already ordained for you. Allah ने तुम्हारे लिए लिख दी है. There is no question about it. क्योंकि Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Quran में बता रहे हैं, it's already mentioned. Kataballahu lakum. It is written for you. Go for it. वला तरतद्दु अला अदबारकुम. Don't turn your backs. Don't पीछे ना मुड़ना. Why so फतां क़ालिबु ख़ासिरीन. बड़ा ही खसारा पाओगे मुड़े तो. पीछे मत जाना, बड़ा ही खसारा पाओगे. पहुंचो इस सिटी के अंदर. कौलू या मूसा इन्ना इन्ना फीहा कौमन जब्बारीन. इसमें तो बहुत ज़्यादा कौम. इसमें there is a nation which is very, very tyrant, very strong. Wa inna lan nadkhulaha, and we are never going to enter it. Look at the audacity. Look at the language Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has captured from them in the Quran. We are not going to, never going to enter it. We are not going to move. Hatta yakhruju minha, until and unless they will move from it. जब तक ये लोग नहीं जाएंगे, हमने नहीं हिलना. हम नहीं enter होंगे इधर. فإن يخرجوا, जैसे ही निकलते हैं, and as soon as they will leave, فإنا दाखिलून, then we will enter it. कौल रजुलानी मिन लज़ीना यख़ाफ़ून, उनमें से जो लोग डर रहे थे उस टाइम इन कौम से, दो आदमी बोलते हैं इसमें. Okay, so Yusha bin Nun is one of them, the little boy who was with Musa when he was visiting Khidr. Okay, so one of them is Yusha. कि एंटर हो जाओ बाप में, क्योंकि अल्लाह ने तुम्हारे लिए लिख दिया हुआ ऐसे, और तुम एंटर हो गए तो फ़इन्ना गालिबून, तुमने जीतना है. यू आर गोना विन. ये सिटी इज रिटन फॉर यू. अल्लती कतबल्लाहु लकुम, ये सिटी इज रिटन फॉर यू. बनी इसराइल एंटर. सो वो क्या कहते हैं, कौलू या मूसा, ओ मूसा, इन्ना लन नदखुलहा अबदम मा दामू फीहा, as long as they are in it, we are not going to budge. We are not going to enter the city. فَذْهَبْ أَنْتَ وَرَبُّكَ فَقَاتِلَا, you go and your Rabb go and we are going to fight. Inna ha huna qaidun, we are going to sit right here. This is very important language they are using. Inna ha huna qaidun, right here we are going to sit. We are not going to move an inch from here. Why am I telling you about this incident with the stress upon their behavior? Why? They're people there who claiming land. You are going to remind yourself, these are the people who are claiming the land of this holy land. They were the one who actually refused to enter this land before. And now look at audacity. Check out their audacity, how they are claiming this land, right? Subhanallah. So please keep that all in context. Okay, so now what is happening? So these people, okay, now with this attitude of theirs, they are not going to move. They are here now, right? As I keep telling you, they are in Sinai. We are not gonna go there. That doesn't have to do anything with us. We just want to relax because we are the people. We are very lazy people. So they were given this punishment for 40 years. Look at where this area is. I want you to keep in mind this is Egypt here, and this is Madian here. Remember, Musa alayhi salam went to Madian. Why did he go to Madian? Remember when he punched someone and the person dies, and then he ran away from the Egypt, and he reached Madian. He got married in Madian, and then he came back. And on his way back to Egypt, he at the Mount of Tur, he was given the prophethood. So very important area, Madian. Between Madian and Egypt, you are seeing this is this land is here. Musa alayhi salam and along with his nation was given a punishment for 40 years. They were not supposed to, they didn't enter the city, either Egypt nor this land was made haram for them for 40 years. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that in Quran, and I want you to keep this thing in mind. This is called the Gabal of Tea. So tea, meaning the desert of tea. Okay, but why am I stressing on it? Tea is actually the word. Ta ya ha is actually the root letter of this word. This is used in Quran. Yati hoon. Okay, so this is from where this word is coming. Tea. And what happened in the desert now? In this during this wandering, they are the incidents when they are slaughtering of cow, when there was an incident when they killed a man and they were disputing over it, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered them, cut the piece of the cow and, and strike with this man, and he's gonna, the dead man is going to come to life and will tell about his killer. And then Mano Salwa was given while they are in the tea. So just imagine, while they are being punished, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them blessings during that time again. During that time too, they were receiving all these blessings. So we have learned from our lesson of 26 ayah of Surah Maida, قَالَ فَإِنَّهَا مُحَرَّمَةٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَرْبَعِينَ سَنَةً. This land is now made haram for you for 40 years. يَتِيهُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. You are not going to, right? After this, you're going to wander around, bhatko is land mein, ab isi desert mein. Can you imagine they used to try to go to Egypt every single day, and by the end of the time, they were end of the day when they used to figure out where they are, they used to be in the desert. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them go to this sort of maze, meaning they were not able to enter either Egypt. I want you to remind you, there is no Pharaoh in the Egypt, though they could have gone back and they could have flourished, right? So but they were not allowed to go anywhere. They were stuck in this desert for 40 years. Okay, and then we learned وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُكُمْ أَن تَذْبَحُوا بَقَرَةً. Cow is back. Subhanallah. Remember, he started with a cow. They started worshipping the cow. That was the first thing they did when they escaped the Firaun was after drowning. Musa alayhi salam took the people out, went into Sinai, and the cow incident was there. Samri did that, and this time again, Musa alayhi salam is now again asking them to slaughter the cow, and they said, are you serious? Are you making joke out of us? This is a mazak. Why are you telling us to slaughter the cow? And then we learned the whole story about the man, as I mentioned to you. This, I want you to remember, my dear sisters, this is all happening. Wherever they used to go, clouds used to follow them. We did that to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually keep on reminding Bani Israel again and again and again. Remember, during the punishment, even आपने बच्चे को grounded किया हुआ है, even then you are being super kind. He has all the, like, his phone access. He's being given the food, whatever he wants. He can have pizza, whatever. But he's being punished. Like, that type of attitude is being done here too. When anzalna alaykumul manna wa salwa, we did that to you. Subhanallah, we brought the food directly from heaven. Kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum, eat. وَمَا ظَلَمُونَ وَلَكِنْ كَانُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ. They didn't do wrong to us. No one did any wrong to us. Because, actually, they did wrong to themselves. Subhanallah. Right? Or when Musa asked for his people, why this tasqa Musa li qawmihi. And now Musa is asking for his people about the water. They wanted water. They wanted special food. So Musa alayhi salam, subhanallah, used to go back to Tur, spend some time, meaning this was not very easy. He used to spend a whole lot of energy going back to Tur, then again requesting. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people are asking this. अब वो ये मांग रहे हैं, अब ये मांग रहे हैं, अब ये मांग रहे हैं, they kept on asking. बिल्कुल हमारे वाला attitude. Exactly what we are. Subhanallah, ये तो मुझे मिल गया है. I have this thing already. Let's talk about more. Agar, like, it's okay if I'm in residency. No, I want anesthesia residency. Yeah, I don't care what if, from where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to arrange it, but I want it. This is exactly what we do. No matter how righteous your son is, you don't care, but you want his degree to be there. Or if he got the degree, subhanAllah, you want his good job to be there. And you are just having this attitude with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're transactional. I'm gonna do the worship to you. I'm gonna worship you if you give me this, if you give me that. Otherwise, I am gonna take a break. Ramadan Muslim, right? We are all like this. This is the story of, unfortunately, me and you. Subhanallah, this is very sad. But we tend to take things very very lightly. So we are reminded what we are supposed to do here. Okay. So now, like, you need to have the context where was this cow incident, where Musa struck his staff on the rock and the 12 springs sprout out. Where was that? We all need to know. This was when they were in the Gabal of Tea, when they were in the desert. Got it? So ये तब हो रहा है जब वो desert में, they were not here, not in Palestine, they were not in Egypt, they are stuck in here. Okay. So now फिर क्या होता है इनमें, इसी दौरान, during that whole 40 years, Harun alayhi salam passed away, Musa alayhi salam, he also passed away. Yusha bin Noon, the little boy who was Rajulani, one of the boys, now he is growing as an adult. He is taking the lead here. He takes the people back to Hebron. वो वापस लेकर आते हैं अपने लोगों को. इसी दौरान you can imagine that the whole generation there is a new generation. Initially, the generation what was there was all the ones who were enslaved. This time, the youth is coming up. So they entered the city of Hebron. Okay. Again, there was an incident when they were asked to enter the city with utter humbleness. Subhanallah, again mentioned in the Quran. We told them to say hittatun, right? Forgiveness, meaning stay humble. They started saying hintatun. Hinta means they're talking about that kind of a food, meaning again started taking the religion for joke. Now they are being they got free from that 40 years of punishment, again forgot. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا ادْخُلُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةَ فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمْ رَغَدًا وَادْخُلُوا الْبَابَ سُجَّدًا. Enter the city prostrating. And this is how, who entered the city prostrating? This is exactly how Prophet, peace be upon him, entered the city of Makkah. When he was on his camel, this is how he entered. وَقُولُوا حِطَّةٌ نَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ خَطَايَاكُمْ. You say it, you say hittatun, meaning stay humble, entering the city of Hebron. And what they did, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, actually before that was Sanazidul Muhsinin, and we will recompense the Muhsin, meaning the ones who do extra, we are going to be recompensating them. فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Again, they changed, the ones who did the zulm, they changed قَوْلًا غَيْرُ الَّذِي قِيلَ لَهُمْ. The saying, the word which they were told, other than that, they started using the different word. Then what we did? فَأَنزَلْنَا عَلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. The ones who did wrong, رِجْزًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. We sent the disease from the sky, which is a plague. So they all got infected with this lethal, deadly disease, plague. Why? بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. Because of their own disobedience. We again did that to them. Subhanallah, they are entering. Now they are entering. So these people are now with the Yusha bin Nun entering this, they have entered the city and with this kind of attitude. So now I want you to remember there are 12 sons of Bani Israel, meaning Yaqub alayhi salam, or Bani Israel, I should say. So there are 12 tribes. They are now entering the city of Hebron, meaning they are entering the city of, essentially the city of Jerusalem. Okay. So what happened then? Instead of making central government, which is what do I mean by that? Instead of making a one single government, these 12 tribes decided they are going to have their own leadership, they're going to have their own laws and regulations, meaning they started fighting among themselves. Okay, so they, instead of having becoming strong and with the utter gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were so proud of themselves that they started going to the other direction, subhanallah. And what happened then? There are people around them who are looking for the land, right? So that, as I just mentioned to you earlier, Canaanites, the other ones from the other side, Iraq, they started again attacking this area. And the utter punishment, humiliation, and slavery came to their part. And then, subhanAllah, what they did was, as we are all aware, they actually again enslaved them while they were there. Okay, so while they were in the Jerusalem area. So then what happened? Story of Talut and Jalut, again mentioned in Quran. Prophet points with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Talut is going to be your, the person who is going to be a prophet, right? So Bani Israel didn't want Talut to be the one, because they wanted somebody influential, koi elite, somebody known in the community, famous. That person should be a prophet. They were selective about the prophets, not only with the prophet, peace be upon him. Look at what they were doing to Talut, right? So Talut alayhi salam, again, he was standing up for this nation, and they refused to accept him because he was a different lineage. And then the Ark of Covenant was sent back to them. Acha, ye kya cheez hoti, Ark of Covenant? This is supposed to be a box which used to have the remnants from the Musa alayhi salam and the book, the scripture that he was given. It is said that it contained that original scripture. Okay, so this was something very important for the Bani Israel. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَقَالَ لَهُمْ نَبِيُّهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ, unke nabi ne kaha, the prophet that was sent to them, meaning Samuel is telling them, قَدْ بَعَثَ لَكُمْ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has raised among for you all Talut as a king, Talut as a malikan. قَالُوا أَنَّا يَكُونُ لَهُ مُلْكُ, how can he be the king? How can the kingdom be given to him? وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ, we are more deserving بِالْمُلْكِ, we are than minhu, بِالْمُلْكِ minhu, we are more deserving of kingdom than him. وَلَمْ يُؤْتَ, and he is not even given سَأَةً مِنَ الْمَاءِ, he is not even given a portion from the ma, like he's so off. How can he be the king? قَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاهُ عَلَيْكُمْ, Allah has selected him over you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has increased him in basatam fil ilmi wa jism, not only in knowledge, he's stronger than you in his physical strength too. Wallahu, and Allah yu'ti mulkahu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring back, gives his favors, may yashau, to whomever he wills. Wallahu wasiyun alim, Allah knows the best. And we heard, we have, this is the ayah from Surah Baqarah. وَقَالَ لَهُمْ نَبِيُّهُمْ إِنَّ آيَةَ مُلْكِهِ, there is a sign for his kingdom, meaning he's your prophet. There is a sign for that. And what is the sign? يَأْتِيَكُمُ الْتَابُوتُ فِيهِ سَكِينَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, the box is going to come back to you. So this is the sign. Talut is, he is your prophet. And then we have heard Talut actually took his army, and he is going to fight these people who are the Canaanite, meaning the strong, common Jabbarin. Talut in his army had this little boy, Dawood alayhi salam. In his army, he had this boy who was Dawood alayhi salam, and Dawood alayhi salam actually killed Jalut. Jalut was one of those strongest people in the army who was a troublemaker. So that he was killed by this little boy, Dawood alayhi salam. And from there comes the, let me just take you to here. It comes the kingdom, this beginning of the rise of the first rise. This is the first rise of Bani Israel. Keep in mind these rises and the falls of Bani Israel, they are mentioned in Quran. In Surah Bani Israel, which is also called a Surah Isra. It is mentioned in Quran that you are going to cause corruption twice in the land. And what is this corruption? First time rise, then fall. Then again rise, then fall. First rise of Bani Israel in the area of Jerusalem is going to be taken care, or under the rule of Dawood alayhi salam. And after Dawood alayhi salam comes his son, right? So this is the golden era of Bani Israel. We need to be all aware of this thing because this is the part of Quran. What was happening? Sulaiman alayhi salam is coming after him, and Sulaiman alayhi salam and Dawood alayhi salam was given the kingdom, which was never given to anyone. Where Sulaiman alayhi salam was actually he had control not over on the men like the jinn were ins. Also, the jinns were in his control, and we have learned so many about this special kind of kingdom, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has multiple times mentioned what has he given to Dawood, what has he given to Jalut. Again, these are all coming in the lineage of Bani Israel. Okay, so we have learned this is all happening in the lineage of Bani Israel. And then what happened after? There was a split of this Jerusalem, this whole area by the brothers. Again, there were 12 tribes. As I mentioned to you, they are flourishing after the death of Sulaiman alayhi salam. They divided this area of Palestine into two parts, as you can see here. The kingdom of Israel with the Samaria as its capital, and then comes the Judah. These are the divisions done among the brothers of Bani Israel. So again, this was all the internal conflict, which was the reason why they were beaten up by the outside forces. So then they divided it into into two parts, and we are all aware of these things, right? So we are all aware what happened and where happened and why, how can they claim? So subhanallah, this is all the parts of the Quran. I was very surprised to know that how much we need to know about this story. I'm not going to take much of the time here now. I'm going to stop and pause here because this is the next part can be little too much for many of us because it was literally too much for me to, subhanallah, when I was preparing these for you all, it was not, subhanallah, easy to capture everything because there is so much that we need to know. But I want you to take few lessons up here. Because this is all the part of Quran. So that part I really want to mention. I'm not going to go what happened, how the Persians attacked, how the Syrians attacked. Essentially, they were being attacked back to back, back to back, back to back. Okay. So then they came, the first part where they were actually given any peace and they could stay in Jerusalem was under the rulership of Islam. And then they agreed to it very openly. When Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu entered the city of Jerusalem in 638 AD, okay, so AD means after the birth of Isa alayhi salam, when he entered, so that was a time when Jerusalem was allowed for the Bani Israel to enter. Just as you know, before that there were many happenings in which for about 600, more than 600 years, Jews were not even allowed to enter Jerusalem by Christians. They were not allowed. Then when Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu came, he actually gave them the passport to visit. At that time, they were not even able to buy the property. They were not able to do that. So let me just, subhanallah, I want you to be aware of this thing. Lesser time I have. So then, see here. Where should I stop? Where should I take you? Mm, yeah, this is important part. How about that? This is a very important part. This is the diaspora where they were beaten up and essentially they were all kicked out by the Romans. The Roman from remember the Roman and the Persians, and these were the big empires at the time of Prophet peace be upon him. And 70 AD they were actually kicked out, and they were in the state of statelessness. Actually, you can say between 70 AD after the birth of Isa alayhi salam up till 1948. Okay, so we are talking about 1948 May. Then they actually built and claimed the eastern part of Jerusalem as their part. इन्होंने इसको claim किया कि वो उनका, sorry, western part is their part. On the eastern side, they were where you have the temple of there all the Masjid al-Aqsa is and the Jerusalem is. Despite the fact that they were given their part, they did not stop. They wanted everything. They wanted to be the rulers of everything. और इनको जो प्रमोट किया, they were promoted by this Britain, the British control. हुआ क्या था? World War I में 1914 में actually there was the Balfour Declaration. ये 1917 की मैं बात अब कर रही हूँ. मैं आपको बताया कि जो डायस्पोरा था इनका वो 48 तक था, 1948 तक था। 1917 में ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने ये कहा, दे एक्चुअली पास द बिल वेयर इट्स बनी इसराइल Jews, they need to have their own land so they can actually go back to Jerusalem. This was passed by the UN. Subhanallah, they passed the bill. वो उनको allow करते हैं. They were allowed to go back in 1917 and 1948 में they actually were so powerful. There was so much like people, and the amount like the amount of their nation was so much in Jerusalem that they actually Palestine, that they actually claimed their own state in 1948. And then after that, we are all aware what is happening is still is they are just now non-stop. And it is non-stop. They want to get to everything, anything possible from there. Subhanallah, the important piece we need to keep in mind is whenever they were under the Muslim leadership, may that be the where when they were under Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, or were under Salahuddin Ayyubi. Inshallah, I will be doing a separate talk on this one because this is something I didn't prepare you for that because I don't want to make it very academically heavy. But we all need to know who was Salahuddin Ayyubi, Nuruddin Zengi, who was that? These great people. So we need to be aware of all these great personalities of our history. Anytime they were under the Muslim leadership, Jews were given what they could never have from Christians, meaning they were given so much peace and so much, subhanallah, abilities to buy the land. They were all given by Muslims, and now they are biting us back. So subhanallah, this is a very harsh part of Bani Israel story, how they ended. And again, they are sticking with the concept allati kataballahu lakum. The land is written for us, and you may see some of our scholars actually also agree to this thing, that this land was written for them, so this land should be given to them. So subhanallah, if you anytime hear this statement, because this is again the part of Quran, we need to be aware of this, because in the Quran it is mentioned this is the promised land. After that promise, keep in mind muharramatun, this is made unlawful for you. And again, the important thing to keep in mind is when they were given blessings, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favored them, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, فَضَّلْنَاكُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ, when we have favored you all over the alameen, that they were Muslims at that time. What do I mean by that? They were under the they were following the Prophet, and that was the reason all these blessings were done to them, right? Why when that was a different scenario. Now we cannot say allati kataballahu lakum is still going to apply to them, because that they are not the same, right? So we need to keep in mind. And before I inshallah end the session here, because I only have 4 minutes, I don't want to I am aware that our attention span is only 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we all zone out, right? But you should know at least, I'll be sharing this, this maps with you. ये तो पता होना चाहिए, इतना तो at least we all should be aware of this thing. We are aware of so many things. Black Friday is coming and we are all prepared so much. And, subhanAllah, we need to know about these things way more than what we need, what we know about the rest of the things, right? So they are way less important than the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So, कौन कौन से फर्स्ट राइट्स राइज एंड फॉल जो अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने कुरान में बात की है, इनका पहला राइज था, द फर्स्ट राइज वाज इन द किंगडम ऑफ दाऊद एंड सुलेमान अलैहिस्सलाम. उसके बाद फॉल कहाँ से आता है? बेबीलोन डिस्ट्रॉयड जेरूसलम, बीटन अप दे वर. ये इराक से, बेबीलोन इज एक्चुअली द नेम फॉर इराक, राइट? सो वहाँ से आए और इन्होंने जेरूसलम में एंटर होके ना सिर्फ इनको वहाँ पे स्लेवरी थी, मारा शारा, बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ किया. एंड देन दे एक्चुअली ऑल्सो टुक the people from the Jerusalem and they make them like grab them with them to their own places. Why so? Because they needed slaves. Okay, so they were made slaves and humiliated that way too. They were not even attacked where they were in their own country, in their own place, like places where they were given as a blessing. They were actually also dragged out. And second, इनका rise कब आया था? जब Persian Empire, what was this empire about? Cyrus था पर्शिया का, that king from Iran, he came and he actually helped them rebuild whatever was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar, right? So जो उसने किया था, जो इतना भी destroy किया था Babylonians ने, दोबारा से rise आया था under the Persian rulership. और फिर फॉल आया था जब ये इन्होंने रोमन्स उधर फिर लड़ाई की, रोमन्स ने उनके ऊपर अटैक किया, एंड देन दे हैड देयर सेकंड फॉल, एंड दैट फॉल इज स्टिल गोइंग 70 सीई से बिफोर सॉरी बर्थ से अभी तक, सॉरी आफ्टर द बर्थ ऑफ ईसा अलैहि सलाम से अभी तक दे आर इन एक्साइल, राइट? And we are all aware of the present situation, so we need to be take a screenshot of this thing, because this is something that I was really, when I was doing my Quran for the first time, meaning the tafsir, Quranic tafsir course, it was very, I was very I used to be very confused. What are these two rises? What are these two falls? But inshallah you'll be seeing something coming from my side very soon about the history of the actual, like, you know, the more detailed, little bit more detailed history, okay, inshallah. So with that, inshallah, I am hoping that we are going to keep some lessons, some points in our mind, and it is only the, I gave you the taste. Again, the whole history I cannot explain in 1 hour, but I was hoping at least कुछ तो पता होना चाहिए ना हमें, कोई तो बात बताओ ना, ये कौन से मूसा लाए, कहाँ पे थे ये, इजिप्ट में कैसे आए? So before I end, I want to ask you guys a question. So here is my question for you all. Okay, so here's my question, and then you guys can leave. How did was there any time when Ibrahim alayhis salam also went to Egypt? Do you guys know that he also went to Egypt? Ibrahim alayhis salam. Were you aware that he also went to Egypt? Yes or no? Type 1 if you were aware he did go to Egypt. Do you remember he also went to Egypt? I'm talking about Ibrahim alayhis salam. Ibrahim alayhis salam Ur mein paida hote hain, like he was born here. Exactly, there you go. He did go to Egypt. Remember? Very good job. I'm seeing the answers here. There are no, it's okay. Ibrahim alayhi salam was born here in the area around, in a small village up here. There was one of the places of worship. He was born around this area. He was, as a little boy, he left that area. He went to Iraq and then to Syria, and then he comes to Jerusalem as a part of his journey, and he did go to Egypt. And what happened in Egypt? क्या हुआ था Egypt में? What happened here? Do you all remember Hajar alayhi salam? Where is she coming from? Very good job. Very well done. Yes. Subhanallah, this is how the important part of the, like, you know, this is so important that we should know. Subhanallah, this is so interesting that he, yeah, यहाँ पे थे Ibrahim alayhi salam, but then he had this trip up here, Egypt में Hajar alayhi salam, then he had Ismail alayhi salam, he took Ismail alayhi salam and Hajar alayhi salam in the Arabian Peninsula, and he did the sacrifice of Ismail alayhi salam, and as a gift of that, as a gift, it was accepted as a gift. Then he had another son, Ishaq alayhi salam, coming after 12 years of Ismail alayhi salam. Okay, so that was, Ishaq alayhi salam was essentially a gift to him. Right? Actually, all of the prophets were gifts to him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَا all of them Nabi. We have made all of them the Nabi and prophets, and you know, there are so many things coming from the Bani Israel. So with that, inshallah, I'll be ending our session here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear sisters.